Welcome to the Nevcast, where three bros talk business, art, justice, and the pursuit of Jesus.
Any day above ground is a good day.
Get ready to laugh, cry, and kiss 30 minutes goodbye with Peter Nevland,
Dave Nevland,
and
Rashi. All right. Nevcast time. Nevcast time. Gather round. It's Nevcast time. I'm not.
Never have I heard such a warm and welcoming intro.
It's as if I read it. It's as if I was an amateur voiceover artist that I talk to every day, reading the script.
You make vocals sound like
Fun.
they have been. Yeah, right.
Oh man, our friend Rashi is driving a truck today, and he has entered a dead zone, and we cannot reach him.
Yeah, Rashi, he may join us in a little bit. I just got a text from him, but here we are. Things are a little funny. It's Icepocalypse 2023, and I don't have power at my house, but I hear that Clark, you and Dave have power at your house. We're joined by Clark Zaunbrecher.
Yeah, hi.
There's Klon. There he is. There he is.
Yeah, we've got power, and it's actually a little toasty in my house. I might have to go turn the heater down.
Oh, I don't think you're supposed to be saying that. Sounds like
We'll be over in a little. We'll be over in a little bit.
Yeah.
Come on over.
Could be taken as a taunt.
Come on over.
Well, it looks like you have plenty of space there. If anyone needs to join you.
Okay,
it's a large room.
I think we can add Rashi.
Oh my goodness. Here it goes. Here it goes. The adventure continues. Yeah, I was awakened a little bit this morning to the sound of, what the heck was that? Something falling on my roof. And it's either ice and then I woke up this morning, it's like three big tree branches down in the front. So I'm like, there's got to be a bunch of ice falling on the roof.
Hey, everybody, it's Rashi.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Oh, man, we're okay, but are you driving through snow and ice?
Oh, no, I'm actually just parked right now, man. Parked, sitting down here drinking me some coffee.
But is it icy? Is it icy where you are?
Yeah, it's a little bit of ice and stuff, but not like a lot. Not like a lot now.
Because you're South Texas. You're somewhere in the southeast Texas, something.
East. Yeah, Houston.
Yeah.
In and out of Houston.
Well, Rashi, we've got Clark Zaunbrecher on the call. And
Hey, Rashid. Good to meet you, man.
Clark Zaunbrecher?
Zahn.
That works?
Zaunbrecher. If he was German, they would say Zaunbrecher. But we can say Zaunbrecher.
I am German.
Yeah, okay. Where you from? Turkey somewhere, man?
Wow. Turkey. Wow,
Where
Turkey.
you from?
Well, he's from Houston. He's from Galveston, but his family lineage is German.
I'm from from South
He's from
Austin.
that island, man. All right, G-Town.
That's right. I am from G-Town. BOI.
Okay.
Born on island.
Okay.
Born on the island.
What's going on with you?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out.
Chilling.
Oh.
We're going to talk to Clark about resting. It's going to be exciting.
Rashi, I think Clark definitely knows about you. You're somewhat famous, and you actually probably know who he is. Clark used to be the worship leader at Hope in the City, where Dave and I used to go to church.
Okay.
So he's tall, thin guy, dark hair, really muscular arms, and he was leading worship at Hope in the City.
Yeah, he had his voice like Gabriel.
Play guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Well, good to meet you, Clark, man.
Thanks, bud. Good to meet you too, Rashid.
I have a feeling y'all have met before.
I'm sure we have.
Would have been a while ago.
We probably have, man. I don't know. I got to see a picture of you. If I see a picture of you, I'll probably remember you.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Once you see a picture of Clark, you do not forget. He is
That's right.
a remarkable face.
All right.
Right. Peter, what the hell are you on this morning?
He's,
with the muscular arms, the beautiful. What you doing, man?
Hey, well, the power's out at my house. You know, I got nothing but my words here.
and your wood fire burning. So.
Yeah, the wood is burning in the fireplace. That's right.
Okay.
So I want to kind of kick this off. We wanted to talk to Clark. We want to have Clark on the show because Clark, it wasn't last year. Maybe was it the year before or kind of halfway through? You took a year of rest. Is that right? When was that? When did that happen? How did that come about?
That is true. I think it began the summer of 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
how did it come about?
Yeah, how did it come about?
Okay. Well, we had been in Boston for about 4 years, and we were considering moving back to Texas. We've got 4 kids. We really love. I love my wife's parents. My wife loves my parents, and we missed having their presence in our kids' lives. And so we wanted to move back. And as we were praying about that decision, I was thinking about, okay, after we made the decision, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do when we move back to Austin? Like for work, what am I going to do? And everything I tried on, every scenario, it was just like, oh, no, that sounds horrible. I don't want to do that. And so then I asked myself the question, that I'm sure many of, you guys have asked yourselves, like, okay, if money weren't an issue, what would I do this next season of my life? And so that's kind of a question to kind of help you tap into what you really want, what's in your heart. And as I did that, I uncovered, man, this is what I want. I want to spend a year of just kind of pressing pause on life. And I want to create a huge amount of space to spend a lot of time with the Lord. I want to spend some time kind of evaluating the last few seasons of life. And I wanted to read a lot, study, but just kind of press pause. I was entering, I felt like I was getting to a liminal space. So a liminal space is kind of like you're at a threshold. You're getting somewhere where you're no longer there. You're no longer where you came from, but you're not quite where you're going yet. And so I was reaching a place. I was just wrapping up 20 years of full-time ministry. And regardless of what you've done as a career, I think 20 years is a significant kind of landmark. And I'm in my mid 40s. And so I think supposedly at least guys will hit a place in their mid 40s where you've lived long enough to know that what you're good at and what you're not good at, and what gives you life and what sucks it out of you, and kind of what are the things that you do that seem to have the most impact on other people and help people the most. And yet you're also aware of the fact that you don't have as many bullets in your revolver as you did in your 20s. And so basically you realize resources are limited. My time is limited. My energy is limited. And so, man, whatever I do with my life, I want to create the most damage possible and have the most fun doing it. And so I felt like in order to do that, I had to press pause and create some space to, just evaluate and be with the Lord. But then when I realized that, I was like, well, who's going to pay me to do that? I've got 4 kids. I've got a wife. My wife, her career has been raising babies for the last 13 years. And so no one's paying her to do that. So who's going to pay me to do this? And when I asked that question, I felt like the Lord challenged me and said, Clark, over the last 20 years, there's been a church willing to pay you to seek first my kingdom in the way that you felt like you needed to seek first my kingdom in that season. So whether that was being a worship pastor, young adults pastor, executive pastor, there was a paycheck on the other end of me seeking God's kingdom. And the Lord said, hey, when there's not a paycheck on the other side, as in, presently, as I look forward, I didn't see a paycheck. He said, what are you going to do? You're going to keep seeking the kingdom, or are you going to do something else? And so I felt like he was kind of challenging me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well, fine. I'm going to do this, and you're going to have to provide. And at first I was like, provide a 20-hour-a-week job, and then provide money, miracle money or something on the other, in addition to that to provide. And just immediately he began providing. Kind of after I took, I would take one step towards him, and he would take 10 steps towards me. And he would provide like a check from this direction or that direction. Of course, the government was trying to give money to everybody at that time. That was in 21. So, and there were other sources. And I remember one day, just in my quiet time, I was like, Lord, I just have faith. Like, Lord, would you provide $6,000 from somewhere? And like within an hour, I had a text from someone saying, hey, the Lord led me to give you $6,000. And so
that's amazing. Did that check arrive in the mail? How did that check get to you?
Well, it was a text, and then I can't remember if it came via PayPal or a check. It was probably PayPal.
So this one was where you prayed and you asked God, and then like an hour later, you got a text from someone, hey, I felt like the Lord told me to give you $6,000.
Yes, and this person wasn't. I imagine that this person knew about it before I did. Like, meaning before I had prayed, Lord, provide $6,000. God had already spoken to this person, because this person isn't really a like fly by the seat of their pants person. They're kind of like me, right. Kind of like, okay, I thought about this. I think the Lord spoke this, and really intentional.
It's as if God is outside of time or something.
Well, or it might just be that God already had planned to bless you. And
right.
That then when you said it, he, was like, oh, I'm so glad you asked, because that was actually already on its way.
Yeah.
Even sweeter.
Right.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
So, but anyway, just to wrap it up, what happened was it got to the point before that year of rest even started where I realized I don't even have to have a 20-hour-a-week job. Like, I'm not going to have to work for a year. So.
That's amazing. That's so good. So, okay. So I got to ask you about this, because I've gone through this experience once 7 years ago, and I'm in it again now. And the first time that I took a year of rest, when I told people who were in like our community, this was in Hope in the City days, and I told them, and everybody was like, "You're crazy, taking a year of rest. Like, what do you? When can you do something again?" I'm like, wow, this really is countercultural. So did you get any of that from people, or what were the reactions that you got from people when, you told them, oh yeah, hey, I think I'm going to take a year of rest?
I think, the most resistance I got, and I didn't get much. The most resistance I got was just kind of like silence on the other end. Like, oh, okay. That's all, other than that, I think people who know me, and you guys know me.
Sure.
I'm Mr. Conservative as far as my personality, right? So if I say something, it's chances are I've thought about it and looked at it from every angle possible for a while before it comes out of my mouth. And so the people who know me know that I'm not like, every week I have a new idea or a new crazy thing that I'm going to do. So when I would share it, they would be like, all right, God must be in this. So I had a lot of support. My wife was incredibly supportive. Even, parents and things like, okay, sounds good. So.
Cool.
That's great. So yeah, because I'd never heard of anybody doing that, like, before I'd done it. But now, I've heard of you, and then I actually heard another, Andy Crouch,
Yeah.
said that he takes a year of rest every 7 years, like I've begun a pattern doing, and he talked about that and seemed really amazing. Tell me, what was kind of like your routine like? Did you have a routine then in that year of rest, or was each day kind of different, or
Yeah, I had a routine. I had a 9 to 5 schedule pretty much. I mean, I would get up in the morning and I would probably spend till about 10 in the morning, just kind of spending time, spending time with the Lord, which meant reading my Bible, pacing around, praying, writing, journaling. I took a class. I audited a class on C.S. Lewis and his theology, like through his writings. And so I was doing a lot of reading of just like, a lot of C.S. Lewis's nonfiction. And so that was part of my day, was doing that. I also, at some point, I decided I wanted to kind of sharpen my coaching skills, not athletic coaching, but kind of leadership coaching. That's something that I did a lot or I was introduced to it when I went to Boston, and did a lot of it in Boston. And so I wanted to kind of take the next step. And so I did I got a certificate, or accredited. And so it was kind of like a 6 to 9 month deal. So I would spend a couple hours a day working on that, whether that was coaching other people or, it was mostly coaching other people or going through the training. So.
Okay, cool. So you were doing stuff, and what were so maybe first I would say, what were the things that I guess you learned about yourself, maybe about God, that came out of that year of rest? How did you see the world differently, coming out of that?
Yeah. Well, one thing, so I felt like going into it, I felt like there was a point I got to where I realized this is one part like a sabbatical, or one part like a pause. And yet there was another part where this is how I'm going to be living my life from now on. And here's what I mean.
Tell me about that. This is how I'm going to be living my life from now on, because that's a big statement.
Yeah, and when I say how I live my life, I don't mean like the way I'm going to live my life now is I'm not going to work. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. Like, that's not what I meant.
Right.
What I meant was I felt, okay, so here's kind of the summarizing statement that the Lord spoke all throughout this year. And it was kind of this is the summary of what I learned this season and what I am embracing as I move forward. And this is this describes what it means this is how I want to live my life from now on. But basically the Lord said, Clark, you are created for joy. Joy is found in simply enjoying who I am and my love for you. The joy I created you for requires a slow pace and ample space for prayer and reflection. It requires valuing presence over productivity and understanding that your soul is bigger than your role. And so that's kind of what God put, in me. Like, this is the rest of your life has to be about joy, Clark. It's about enjoying me, enjoying the Lord. And it requires moving a lot slower through life.
Yeah.
Having margin.
What did you say? Your soul is more important than your role.
It's bigger.
It's bigger. Your soul
it's bigger than your role.
Yeah.
So that's now how you roll.
I mean, that's just powerful.
That's how I roll.
That's right. That's how you roll.
Yep.
Roll from your soul.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
So, and I think that's important because, you know, when you do something long enough, your identity can kind of get stuck or tied into what it is that you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's good, just like, oh no, your soul is so much bigger than your role. Like it's so much bigger than what you do 9 to 5. It's so much bigger than, you know, a lot of your different roles.
Right.
And so you don't need it as much. You know, you're not as attached to it as much.
Yeah.
As attached to whatever your role is, your job, or how, you know, yeah.
Yeah, that's so great. That is so wonderful. So, okay, so these
my
are the
daughter
things that
there
you've
home from
learned.
school.
And are you thinking like, hey man, another 7 years down the road, I'm doing it again? Or are you like, it was kind of like a one-time thing?
Yeah, you know, I honestly I hadn't even like thought of it until I was talking to you, Peter, and you mentioned that you were doing it. You were doing it again, and then you mentioned to me the Andy Crouch thing, and so I don't like. I'm not sure yet. Like I don't necessarily feel like conviction or like the Lord has said, Clark, this is a pattern.
Sure.
Like I'm a year and a half out of that year.
Right.
And so it's kind of a wait and see, like, well, that would be kind of cool to do it again.
Yeah, right.
But the coolest thing is,
it sounds like you really enjoyed it. It wasn't like you were sitting twiddling your fingers going, oh, I can't wait for this year to be over so I can finally do some stuff.
Oh yeah. Totally. And the great thing is like, once you do it, you know that, whoa, I can do this. Like if I feel 2 years from now that like, man, this is what, for me to seek God's kingdom and for me to seek the Lord, it's going to look like, it's going to require some off-roading, you know, getting off the well-traveled path. It's like, man, we can do this. Like I can do this.
Yeah.
I've got proof.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, I mean, God said, seek my kingdom and I'll provide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jesus said, hey, you seek first my kingdom and I'm going to provide. Like your job is to seek my kingdom, whichever direction, whatever that looks like. And I'm going to pick up the tab.
But, you know, isn't it interesting? Before you did that, it was kind of like, well, will he really? I mean,
Right.
I kind of have to do my part. I kind of have to do my part in order for God to provide. But in reality, God's like, no. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm actually asking you to stop trying to do your part and just let me provide. You just let me provide.
Yeah.
And watch me show you how much I care for you. Like you don't really believe yet. Like you believe in me, but you don't really believe that I'm this real yet. And I want you to take this year of rest so that you will really believe that I'm this real. Like I just think that was mind blowing for me. I think that it sounds like it was mind blowing for you too. And then the other part of it was that you said it wasn't that it changed your view of God, but it changed your view of you. Like God changed your view of you, that you were made for joy. Jesus came that you wouldn't just have life, but you'd have life more abundantly, right? He made you to enjoy life, to be living out of this mindset, which is actually the implication of God taking the seventh day for rest. Seventh day indicates ongoing perfection. Like this is how we're supposed to be living our lives, is in his rest, in his presence, letting him enjoy us and us enjoying him, and letting him take care of us and provide for us, and really not worrying about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Does that pretty good summary
Yeah.
of kind of
Right on.
what happened with you?
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
well said.
So I want to hear. I'm going to try to add Rashi back in because I think he got cut off. But I want to hear what happened with your family and the impact that had on you, your wife, your kids, and how you interacted. So let me see if I can add Rashi in here in just a second.
All right. Attempting to connect.
Attempting to connect to Rashi again.
It'd be interesting to see when. So, and while you do that, it'll paint a little bit of the picture. So you had Clark come to the end of a season in Boston. Not like it wasn't like you got fired or laid off, but you had decided already to move back to Austin from Boston to Austin.
I got his voicemail.
You got his voicemail.
I'll have to try again. Let me try again.
Okay, so you decided to move from Boston to Austin, and then this realization hit about what, or this revelation from God about what to do once you got here.
Right.
You didn't. It wasn't that you came. You were like, God was saying, "Hey, I want you to take a year off," and then you're like, "Okay, let's move to Austin." It was the other way around, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so there's that. Also, your job in Boston was we say in ministry. You said in ministry, and that's for someone who doesn't know what that is. That's kind of a consulting, talking to people, praying for people, one-on-one or on the phone, or you're present on a Sunday morning. You're present in a church situation, ready and available, but you've got meetings and with people where most of it is consulting with them, coaching in a way, that kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're in charge of your schedule, basically.
I mean, a good part of it. I mean, there are meetings and standing meetings and things that are set in stone, but there is a certain amount of it where I am in charge. It's like, okay, I can spend this time to work on this thing, or I can go meet with that person.
Right.
Yeah.
So your time is somewhat.
Back.
Oh, you're back. Okay. So your time is somewhat discretionary. Rashi, he's there. Okay. So and Peter has a job where he is in charge of his schedule, more or less, because he's consulting businesses on advertising and marketing strategy, meeting with them on the phone, writing things when it works best in his schedule, when to write things. So he's in charge of his schedule. Now, our brother Rashi is a truck driver. And so he has probably some discretion, but probably very little. So just kind of painting the scenario for him to do, if he felt like I was saying, take a year off, that would necessitate probably quitting his job in order to do it. Probably.
Would that probably be true, Rashi? Let's say if you felt like God was saying, hey, take a year off and just rest and just spend time with me. What would you have to do for your job?
I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. You'd have to quit your job. But on the other hand, you could probably get another job as a truck driver after that year, couldn't you? That's
probably true.
Yeah, but how the hell I'm gonna pay my bills?
Right.
Well, but that's where God's promise is that He will provide for you. Because what He said was, if you take a year to rest, not only will I provide for you the year that you're going to be resting, but He was saying, I'll provide for you for the year that you're going to be catching back up and getting back going again. Because He was saying agriculturally. That's the idea. And so what I found was the first year that I took a year of rest, it wasn't just that that we paused and had no money coming in that year. We actually made double that year what we would have normally made.
Right.
it was crazy. God provided just out of the blue stuff for us like crazy. And then this year again, like I'm making more than I did last year while taking a year of rest and doing like so much less. I'm doing very minimal anything with my business.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would just put out there that I would propose that if God called you to this, then God's going to go, hey, I'm going to provide a ton of money the year before, and it's not going to be like, Rashi, you have to stack up enough money so that when the 7th year comes, now maybe God gives you that plan and He says, okay, for these 6 years, I want you to save up this much of your income. Okay, great. And then in the 7th year, you just take a year off and then provide your gift. Or He may go, no, you just act as normal and watch me provide. And it comes up to that time and you say no. And who knows what kind of favor He gives you with your boss, where your boss goes, hey, take a year off. When you come back, you have a job waiting for you. Or maybe He goes, you know what? Do that. And we're going to pay you a little bit. I don't know. Who knows what God puts in people's hearts, right?
Right.
That's it for the Nevcast this time. Join us next week when we talk justice, business, and art in pursuit of Jesus. We will see you soon.